Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I've learned as I've grown into the person that I am today. And I'm sitting on here as calm as I possibly can be after chasing the dogs around in the dark in the backyard. I let them out and they just started like barking for no reason and racing through the yard, and I can't see out there because it's like, you know, pitch black. And so I turned my flashlight on my phone and I'm trying to see them, and Boo's over here and Tucker's over here, and I mean the peepee is almost impossible to see. And so I'm like trying to find them, and I'm thinking, oh my god, there's a coyote out there or something, and I think they were chasing a bunny rabbit. So that's the excitement of the day in the household of the dogs over here. But, you know, I start every single day with some meditations, and these are not the ones that I typically read from, although I do read The Nightlight by Amy Dean at the end of the day. If I haven't read it on like a video, I'll read it to myself, because I really think it's a great thing to end the day with some spiritual thought, so, you know, making a gratitude list, and, you know, just kind of thinking throughout your day, taking inventory, looking at who you were that day. I think for me, and this is a recovery thing. If you're in recovery, you'll know what I'm talking about. This is kind of a 10-step inventory. But, you know, if I take a daily inventory every single day on who I was for the last 24 hours, it saves me a lot from having to go past the last 6 months or the last year or whatever, because I'm, you know, always kind of consistently looking at something that is going on with me. Pee-Pee the Flying Chihuahua is dying to be in this video. You want to say hi to everybody? He said, hello, everybody. I just had a delicious dinner. And I ran around in the backyard with my my brothers, and now you want to come a kiss? Come a kiss? He said, of course. So he is going to sit down next to me while I read these meditations. All right, so let's start with Daily Affirmations for Forgiving and Moving On, Powerful Inspiration from Personal Change, and this is by T.N. Dayton, PhD. And I kind of just skimmed these, but all three of these were really good. Okay, Getting Enough Rest, December 4th. Today I will remember to take care of myself. This may come in a variety of forms, depending on what stage of life I am in and how I balance my needs. There are, however, things that make me feel especially good. Quiet time to unravel my thoughts and to align myself with a higher power is a good activity to make part of my daily schedule, like I was just talking about. When I let myself get too tired, I feel stressed. When I feel stressed, little things seem big. And when little things seem big, I get short-tempered and do and say things I later regret. I will nurture myself with enough rest and quiet today. I will eat well and take enough time to enjoy my meals, and I will allow myself to relax and enjoy my day. I let myself have the rest and quiet I need. H.A.L.T. This is a 12-step slogan, and they have it in here. Don't let yourself get too hungry, angry, lonely, and tired. And that was, you know, something that I heard in my first probably 10 days of sobriety was H.A.L.T. You know, never allow yourself to get too hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, and you need to take care of yourself. And that's something that I ask myself on a regular basis, you know. And hungry doesn't just need to be like, okay, I'm not eating, you know, 3 square meals a day. It can also mean, you know, like, am I like eating the appropriate foods? And often for me, I'm not. Am I drinking enough water, you know? Am I drinking too much caffeine? Because some days, I talked about this on a vlog not too long ago, there's days that I just feel like I had too much caffeine today. And I typically don't like, you know, it's funny because I go and I get a cup of coffee every single day, and I show that in some of my videos, but that's typically the only like caffeine I'll have that day. 2 or 3 nights a week, I'll go with my, you know, good friend, my good Judy, Tanya, and we'll get a fountain pop, but typically I'll get like a bottle of water. You know, I don't even get a fountain pop some nights. So I don't really drink that much caffeine, but that's something that I have to watch for, you know. Getting too angry, getting too lonely, and getting too tired are things that I have to keep in check too. Taking care of myself, you know, I talk a lot about that on here, and taking, you know, a 20-minute bath, or doing, you know, some facial ritual at night before you go to bed, or, you know, just allowing yourself to get enough sleep, or listening to an audiobook, or reading a book, or listening to a podcast, watching your favorite TV show, treating yourself to some kind of treat like ice cream or something that you like every once in a while. You know, all of that is okay and important to do. But I think also in taking care of ourselves, we have to check and make sure that we're not too hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, you know? Because when one of those gets out of whack, typically the other ones do too. And I don't know for everybody else, but you know, if I find myself getting, you know, too angry about something, and then I find myself irritable and everything is irritating me, and then that affects my loneliness because nobody really wants to be around that, and then it's like one affects the other, and before I know it, I'm just truly miserable. Happiness, peace, and serenity today is not a luxury for me. I have to have those things. And you know, I've worked really, really hard to have those. I've worked really hard in the last year, and I've worked really hard the last 25 years to have those things in my life. And I'm just not willing to hand those over today over things that just really aren't that important that I get upset about. I find myself, you know, in the past, or I found myself in the past, in an inventory, getting really upset about things that, in all honesty, 5 or 10 years down the road, just won't matter to me. And if you had played, you know, a scene from that day, 10 years down the road, oh, I dropped my book. If you played a scene from that day, 10 years down the road, I wouldn't have been upset about it. You know, even 6 months or a year later, I look back on it and I go, yeah, that was stupid. I got so upset about it. And so one of the things I'm trying to do recently is, or I've tried to do recently is, I'm like talking in present and past tense at the same time. One of the things that I have tried to do recently is that I am, I know Alex is not home, so it's not him getting them barking because we're meeting for dinner. But anyway, one of the things that I have been trying to do recently is that I have been trying to, you know, look at a situation and when it's going on, and if I find myself getting kind of heated or getting kind of angry, I look at it and I go, okay, a year from now, will I really care? Am I borrowing this emotion or this anger or this irritability for no reason whatsoever? Like, am I really gonna care a year from now? And man, I'm telling you, it has really put things in perspective for me. It really has. Because, you know, back in the day, what I would do is like, you know, and this is, I kind of rank things in my head now, you know, between like a 1 being, it's not gonna have any effect on me at all, and a 10 being, it'll have a great effect on me. Well, back in the day, in all honesty, I had a lot of 8, 9, 10s of things that really got me sad or upset or angry or irritable or whatever. I don't have typically that many 8, 9s or 10s anymore. You know, today, I have to really be realistic with myself and honest and take a look at what are those 8, 9s and 10s, you know? And I think that 8, 9s, and 10s for me are now things like, you know, losing my aunt and uncle, you know, losing a friend of mine, or, you know, something like that, where I'm so emotional and so sad. Like, that's a 10. Losing somebody, I mean, let's just be for real. Losing somebody that's been a part of your life is a 10. It really is. You know, finding out some very serious medical concerns, that's a 10, you know? I don't know, having huge financial issues, that's a 10. Getting upset because of something that somebody tweets out, well, that's probably a 1 or a 2. You know what I mean? Getting upset because somebody swerves in front of me on the road, that's probably a 1. Let's just be for real, right? If I'm running late somewhere, I beat myself up about that. I can learn from that experience. That's a 1 or a 2. Why am I borrowing trouble and making those things that are 1s and 2s, and a year from now, I may not even remember or even care about? Why am I making those 8, 9s, and 10s? Because at the end of the day, the person that is the most stressed out about that is me. Nobody else. Doesn't affect other people except for those people that are in my direct little circle, because I'm so irritable, angry, lonely, hungry, whatever, that it's affecting them and they don't want to be around it. You know what I mean? And my husband is somebody quick to say, you know, that like, you know, if I'm real irritable, he'd be like, what's going on? Because this is not fun. You know what I mean? And I don't like get that way anymore. I'm not that irritable anymore, you know? But back in the day, I got myself upset about all kinds of stuff. And, you know, and the reality was I would allow all kinds of people that I really, you know, didn't even know, except for, you know, through this or through that or whatever things that they said. What they said meant so much to me, and it just didn't. And I will say this, the 4 agreements, it just doesn't today. But what I will say is that the 4 agreements really put that into perspective for me that I just read, you know, in realizing that to take nothing personally, that it's really never about me to begin with. Well, back in the day, I took everything personally. Everything was personal to me. And, you know, if you're there, you're just hurting yourself. And what I realized in retrospect was I was just hurting myself, because it really wasn't personal. But I took everything. Boo Radley is going, Boo Radley. Hey, Boo. Come here, Boo. But I was taking everything personally. You know, there's Tucker, but I don't know where Boo is. Come here, buddy. You are having a day today, aren't you? He said, Dad, I need lots of attention. But, you know, like, I would take everything personally. Everything that happened was to me, and they were doing it to me. And let me tell you about them and pointing fingers and all that kind of stuff. Isn't he so sweet? It's not personal. It just really isn't. And you know, when I get in those moments where I think that everything is super, super personal, then I need to take a look at that, and I need to really inventory why I think the world revolves around me, because it just doesn't. And I also have to keep in check that my problems, you know, is that so sweet? He's making his bed back there. That my problems in relation to millions of people out there are minuscule. And I need to be extremely grateful for the life that I have. I have a life beyond my wildest dreams. I just talked about this in my vlog last night. I have a life beyond my wildest dreams, you know? And to allow myself to get upset, to give away that peace and serenity and happiness, for what? It's not worth it. So that's where I'm at with it today. Okay, let's read The Nightlight by Amy Dean, and then I will wrap things up here so this doesn't go too long. December 4th. Boo Radley, do you have your bed made back there so you're ready to go to sleep? Okay, we're gonna do the Nightlight meditation. December 4th. They got scared when they started feeling good just because it was so unfamiliar. Like chronic prisoners facing release from their cells. Lisa author. The evening news usually begins with doom and gloom stories and perhaps ends with one positive, uplifting item. If we were to give the evening news of today, what would it consist of? Stories of disappointment, anger, resentment, and misunderstandings, or recollections of giving, laughter, closeness, success, and achievement? It's scary to focus only on the good things that happen. Many times we're afraid to feel good.
You'd like to call Nicole?
What? Repeat? Ghostbusters! I had to.
I don't see Ghostbusters in your contacts. Should I look for businesses with that name?
Okay, I hate Alexa, but I'm not going to allow that to ruin my peace and serenity right now.
I don't see Ghostbusters in your contacts. Should I look for businesses with that name?
No, thank you. Off, Alexa. I'm leaving that in there because that is just too funny for words. Okay. It's scary to focus only on good things that happen. Many times we're afraid to feel good because we don't trust the feeling to last long. Perhaps we're very uncomfortable with good feelings because they're so unfamiliar. This video is kind of all over the place, you guys, I'm sorry. Yet that unfamiliarity can change over time and we grow accustomed to the good. Accepting good feelings is like meeting someone we really want to know better. At first we may feel scared or shy, but in time we feel more at ease and relaxed as we spend more time together and share different things. Feeling good can be a friend that will grow more important to us every day. Tonight I will focus on the good in my evening news. I love that meditation, and that's a really good reminder for me, you know. I think even in just doing an inventory on a daily basis, sometimes I find myself looking at the nitpicky things that I need to work on harder, or that I need to maybe put more, you know, evaluation or inventory into and really take a deeper look at, which that's fine. But I also think it's great to look at the things every day that are, you know, really, really good, and that's where the gratitude list comes in, and that you're grateful for, oh my God, this I have in my life, and that, and it can be even small things, you know, it doesn't even have to be anything good. It could be like a great cup of coffee that you had for the day, or, you know, that a coworker complimented you, or that you had a really fun lunch, or or Boo Radley making his bed and having absolutely no idea whatsoever that his dad is filming a video right now. Right, Boo Radley? You know, it could be anything. It could be a nap that you took, or a laugh that you shared with somebody, you know. All of those things are really, really great and make for fantastic days. And I think that if we focus more on the positive and the happy that we have, then that's true. That will be the language that we start to speak. But if we speak of the negative, and if we speak of all of the horrible things that we see, you know, have you ever known somebody that, like, oh, I was talking to somebody about this the other day. It's like literally like, they said something to me to the effect of like, they're the most negative person I've ever met in my entire life. And I said, really? Oh, how so? And they said something like, you know, even if you said such and such and such, they would like pick it apart. Like, you know, even if you said, oh, I just planned, you know, a cruise to go to the Caribbean, and they'd say, you know, something like, well, I heard the weather was supposed to be really bad. Have you ever known somebody like that? Like, I have known so many, you know, people like negative Nancy's, is that what we call them? You know, and I've been that. Oh my God, I've been that at times before. And you know what's funny is that when I was that person, I really noticed it in other people because they were total mirrors for me. But now that I'm not so much like that, now that I try to find the good in things, you know, I don't see that as much. And I think that when you switch, you know, your mental perspective and you switch the language that you speak, you stop attracting that negativity. And I will tell you, partly because you just really don't want to have the conversation. I really don't find myself having people around me that are super negative or are always picking out, you know, that they just speak with negativity. I don't want that in my life today. And I don't dislike those people and I wish them all the best, but like I just don't need it around me on a regular basis. And so when I have people that do speak that way, I'm just kind of like, you know, I'll say something like, you know what, like, hey, you know, like it makes me sad that you only see things from this perspective. You know, there's a lot of really good to see there too. And I don't know, at the times that I was super negative in my life, you know, it took my husband looking at me and I asked him what he wanted. And this was probably 4 or 5 years, oh God, maybe 6 or 7 years ago now. I said to him, you know, what do you want for Christmas this year? And he said, I want you to wake up happy and positive every single day. And I took a picture of myself smiling and Boo Radley. And I gave it to him and he put it next to his bed and it's still there. And I said, I'm gonna wake up every single day with a smile on my face. Now that was something I really, really had to work hard on, to get up every single day and choose to look at the world with a positive perspective and say, I'm gonna see the positives today. I'm gonna see the things I'm grateful for, you know? In the last couple years, I did gratitude lists on a daily basis, and that's something I wanna get back to doing. I've said I was gonna get back to it, and I didn't, you know? And like, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. There's so many things I've said I wanted to do that I haven't done, you know? But, those are things that have really, really helped me. And when I am my happiest is when I am doing a gratitude list every day and I am spiritual and I am doing my prayers and my meditations in the morning and I'm doing my prayers and my meditations at night. And when I am doing all those things, when I am tapping into those skills and those tools, and then on top of that, I am choosing to be happy, joyous, and free, peaceful, serene, then my life is pretty good. And I don't allow a whole lot of negativity and toxicity into my life. And once you get to a point where you don't have it, you don't really know how to live in that. And it really is a shift. You know, my best friend and I have talked about this talked about this often, because we used to live in a state of like a lot of toxicity and chaos, even in sobriety. We had friends of ours, our friend group could be pretty chaotic at times, you know? And we just don't do that today. And it's like when it comes near us, we're like this. And if you've gone through that and you've changed, you'll know what I'm talking about. And anybody can change that. Anybody can. I was the toxic person, you know? I was the chaotic person. I was the negative person. And I chose that I didn't want to be that anymore. I don't want to be that. And I need to continue to work on that on a daily basis, because I can say this, it's not just something that you change once and it goes away. It's something that you have to continue to work on for the rest of your life. And if you're somebody like me, and I'm a born addict and alcoholic, I believe that, then I do believe that I am programmed, okay, organically, to see the glass as half empty and to always see the negative. And so I have to work so hard to see the positive, but man, it is so much better to look at the positive than it is to look at the negative. So anyway, those were great meditations. They were kind of, the dogs were all over the place, but hey, that's part of who I am. So anyway, I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.